So we're back in Gunsmith. We created our line for camo gloves in the last episode. Now, we'll look at our orders. As you can see, we have orders for things other than camo gloves, Kevlar armor, these NATO bullets. Is there anything else? I don't think there is. Yeah, nothing just yet for everything else. The problem is we have to unlock and research everything else, right? So if we look at our cookbook, we know how to make camo gloves and that's it. We don't have anything else unlocked. So, while we were grinding afterwards, we unlocked the flow splitter, and we're working currently on the recycle bin. If we would like to do anything else, we're going to have to unlock it. And so over here, we see our camo gloves. The next item that we can unlock is combat apparel, which will get us a camo combat boot, camo vest, combat trousers, and a combat backpack. So combat trousers are a very easy thing to build. And this also opens up the zipping machine. To get Kevlar armor, we'll need to research this entire line. Kevlar dispenser, the resin machine, the armor press, Kevlar helmet, and then we'll be able to get Kevlar armor. I want to go that route. I like the Kevlar armor. It's important to get... Oh, my mistake. This doesn't mean that we'll get that. It means that we actually have to unlock that before we can unlock this. So we'll have to research the zipping machine, which we can do after the recycling bin. We're going to get the recycling bin first. So for now, we're going to grind until the recycling bin pops up, and I will be back with you when that happens. Alright, so as you can see, the recycling bin has been researched. So the next step is going to be picking up this little zipping machine level 1. So as that's going, I want to look at all of our machines here. You can see it's getting low on their health. As it gets lower, we're going to have to start repairing them. And have we hired a repair person yet? I don't believe we have. So that's going to happen right now. Under our build menu, if we go to our personnel tab, we can get a tool station. Now I like to keep all of our personnel in this little section here because it's close to this very large break room, and we can, keep our people happy. If they're not happy, they will quit. So I will take this tool station, and they really need to work on the lighting here because you can't see anything really when that's highlighted. Alright, so now we have a tool station. We can go up to our staff management, hire a mechanic. The hire cost is $2,500, and it will cost us $175 per day. But they're worth it because they will keep your factory machines fixed. And so let's look at our break room here. As you can see, the only item that is in here is this couch. Now, you require a place for your staff to sit to get their energy back up. Once their energy is back up, they go back to work. Now, for the couch, if you just have a couch as your baseline, they will generate energy. But if you can max out the stats, so this one wants 2 plants, a television, and an end table. So what we can do here is we'll put the television right here on the wall. Center that just a little bit. Put an end table right about here. This isn't going to be perfect, but it'll be close. Alright, now they're maxed out. And now, you should be generating a lot more energy. And we have only 4 staff currently. Oh, there's our zipping machine researched. So, let's jump over here. Now we can start researching our combat apparel. We have available 236, it only costs us 30, so let's do it. Let's get back to our little break room here. As I was saying, we have 4 staff. The likelihood of all 4 needing to recharge at the same time is not very. It's not very high, but you know, it's always a risk. So, when he finally moves, what we can actually do is reorganize just a hair. In fact, let me just start. And if you double click on the items, you can move them. And so I need to move this couch when he's there, but this guy's going to sit down first. So, what we'll do is this. We will center this there. We'll do this. Is that centered? Feels slightly off. Let's go there. We'll put it right up on it. There we go. Now you're going to be done soon. And then I can move this. What this will allow us to do is use the same extra items to get the benefit for both of these couches, right? And you can do that over here. It might be a struggle. I think we can fit both couches even with that wall. But what I basically do is I'll line these up along this wall here and fill this room in. I think it'll be better, you know, as time goes along. They should add more items in for your break rooms. I think that would be more interesting. But for now, you know, you work with what you got. And as you can see here, we have in the bottom right here, we have a machine that is broken. This is one of our, I believe that's our heat machine. Ooh, did not want to do that. Oh, another one just went down. Once they hit 50%, they get that little mark. And if we just look around, yep, there he is. And our mechanic is heading to fix an object. As you can see, he's carrying 4 toolkits because they can carry up to 5, and they get them from there. And now we have combat apparel. Alright, he's going to be fixing that. It's all taken care of. That's taken care of. And he's going to jump right over here. And that's taken care of. Alright. So, combat apparel. Do we want to jump into that? I don't know if we do right yet. I think no. Let's look. Combat backpack. Combat boot. Let's open our cookbook and find out what is the best product for us to build. Alright, combat boot is going to require plastic fittings. And then we'll have to heat those up to create a boot sole. The sewing machine and the zipper. And then another sewing machine there. Alright. That's not terrible. Let's see what else we have. Combat trousers are probably the simplest. they go from a dispenser to a cutter, through 2 sewing machines, and then 2 zipping machines, and then you're done. That's what I've done on my own previous playthroughs. It doesn't require merger or anything like that. But, you know, we do have a lot of these plastic fittings. In here, well, I guess it has generated all of those. Well, you know what? I think we've actually reached the end of what was stored, so we'll have to turn these back on. We had a lot of those. Ooh. Oh, right. My mistake. Forgot to turn that one back on. If it's not properly heated, because it does require it to have a heat level of 1, then it will spit it back out. Return invalid item to inventory. And that just means it'll keep cycling through. But that does lead me to the whole point behind this recycling bins. Now that we have the recycling bin, you can see here, we have this recycle bin. And what that would allow us to do is put a recycle bin at the mouth or at the exit of any of these dispensers or any of these machines. So we can separate the machines from their line. And instead of having to create such intricate designs with the these, what do they call them? They're the belts. We can do it with dispensers to allow our staff to access everywhere that they need to. Then we don't have to worry about not being able to get to things or anything like that. It's a little bit more expensive on electricity, but electricity is cheap, especially in this game. Because all you have to do is add new generators. Come here, and it's $2,000, and you can add, more generators. It's 100 more power. And a dispenser takes 5, right? So you can get 20 dispensers for the cost of 1 new generator. So, let's go back to our cookbook. I think we might want to do either the camo vest or the... No, that's it. We want to do the camo vest. Because right here, you can see we already have this section done. And let me explain how that works. So I'm going to hit pause here. Alright? We're going to hoover all this up. Hoover all that up. Oop. I always forget. You can't hit escape to get out of the hoover tool, though it feels like you should. Now, we'll take this dispenser, right? We'll put that over here. And we'll remove this belt. Take the heater. Put that directly at the mouth of the dispenser. What we're doing here is we're trying to create the smallest machine possible to do this job. And you don't need belts if you connect the machines directly together. So it will go straight from the dispenser to the heater to the plastic former. And then what are we going to do? Recycle. Right? Now, that's no extra machines right now. We're going to turn that on, and that on. Now it will just start creating as many of these plastic fittings as humanly possible. Alright? And we'll take this and we'll set it off to the side, because we will need them later. And here we have this machine that's so wide open, right? We'll take this. We'll move that off to the side. And here. And if we wanted to, we could sell those belts, but you do need belts. They play a role. Alright, so as you can see here, we can see where the box is in the middle of the screen. That's where the dispenser will be. And here's where it needs to enter. So what we need to do is we need to line those up, like that. This should be slightly offset. And if we sit here and we zoom in, we can see straight through into the dispenser, see? And that really is the dispenser, see, just like that, how it moves. So, what that tells us is that this machine will now continue to work exactly like it did before, right? So if I hit play, we'll see gloves coming out, just like that. But there's still the problem of not having the plastic pieces, which they're coming out here and they're going there. So this machine is also working exactly as we had wanted it to. So the next step is we're going to take a dispenser, put that right here off to the side, make it output these plastic fittings that are starting to grow. And you'll notice those aren't going onto these shelves, so they're not wasting our space because they're not boxed up. They just go into our inventory. We can come down here and put our new machine on the line. And that would be this dispenser. I'll turn the power on. And we can say plastic fittings. Boom. Now we have that done. Now this does cost us a little extra. It's $25 per day maintenance fee. But now we have this machine which is generating more plastic fittings than we actually need, because it's crafting 5 plastic fittings every 2 seconds, right? We don't need that many. What we do need is plastic fittings on multiple lines. So this allows us to separate that without having to create a second, heater, a second former, all of that. So now let's look back at our cookbook. We're doing the camo vest. And we know this section is done. So now we just need this section. And then this section, right? So we can do that here again. And we'll organize things better later. Right now I'm just worried about getting it done correctly. And we're going to need a belt, but we did save ourselves these. So we'll put that right there and use that. And it was to a cutter and then a zipper. And the cutter is in here. You know what? We don't need the belt. I lied. We'll do exactly what we did before. We'll do the cutter directly on the dispenser. We're going to output a fabric sheet. We're going to output fabric vest, right? And if we look back here at our cookbook, the next thing was, oop, that's the wrong one. Cookbook, camo, fabric vest, and then we need the zipper. That'll go to a camo vest, then another, then to 2 sewing machines, then the end of the line. Well, again, I hate to waste, money on machines that we already own, So here's what we'll do. We'll take our selection and blueprints tool. Zoom out a little bit so we can do this. I'm going to hold shift, click and drag. That will let me select all of these machines. Then I'll hit move. I'm going to move this right into the middle. Turn it slightly. And this way, we have a lot more room to work with. We're not right up against the wall, right? And we'll use the Hoover tool. Pick all this stuff back up. Alright. Again. Every time. Now. We can take this. And we can move these over there. We're going to put this one right over here. So. For this cookbook. We need a zipper, then a merger, then 2 sewing machines. Alright? So, we'll take a zipper, a merger, and a sewing machine. And I'm sure you can see where we're headed with this. We're going to go from the cutter directly into the zipper. I believe that should be it. Let me look. No, more offset. It's the other way. Yep. Into the zipper. I'm gonna move these back a bit. Just a little too close. We'll do the merger. Oop. Close that tool out. We'll do this merging machine. I'm going to go slightly offset with this. Because what I want is to take this just like that. See? And we'll go like this. And then this one will go right here. Now this will free us up for our dispenser, because we're going to have to merge with plastic fittings. So we'll output those. And now we'll put this right here. Now I want to do it right at the end, because as these combine, as they come together on the belt, they're going to fight for placement, and I don't want to have it pushing itself off the belt. This side's going to push and try to push off the belt this way, and this side's going to try to push off the belt that way. If we do it here, that might still happen, but it will end up with, you know, pushing it onto the floor. This way, if it pushes it back, it's pushing it back onto that belt, which is just going to keep pushing it forward. There might end up with a little backup, but it will be fine. As we can see here, this is slightly offset now. So, I'm going to use this tool again and move all of these so they come out right here. And because it's still early access, we have to do something like this. We'll select as many as we can and hit reset. And as many as we can, and we'll hit reset. And that just gets rid of that highlight, which is ugly and annoying. It's fine when they're actually supposed to be highlighted. Not so fine when you don't want them to be. Alright, so, as you can see now, we have two products being made on two separate lines that merge to combine into a single line. This is the start of where I end up. In the introduction video, you can see I have pretty much all of my machines spitting into recycling bins and coming back out of dispensers, and that's because I tackle this like, you know, a program where in programming we break things down into the smallest component that we can, and then if anything goes wrong with that one component, or if I need to make more of just that section, I can do that. And we'll get into the min-maxing aspect down the road. Right now, just know that it really has a lot to do with this output speed and this crafting speed, okay? So what I try to do is keep those as balanced as humanly possible. Alright, so let's just go through now and make sure that everything's coming out the way it should. We have our fabric sheet, we've got our cutter with the fabric vest, we're going to zip, which just adds a pass to it. Plastic fittings, this needs to come out as a camo vest. And we have our zippers and our boxer. Alright, I believe this is going to require a second line because, yeah. Alright. So let's turn everything back on just to see where we're at and see which machines require a line. Alright, so these are fine. All of our original machines are fine, so we need a line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because he has one available, we'll just give him this zipper, or this sewing machine, just to have that covered by a single person. Alright, we'll add a line and a station. We'll recruit. Now we can add all of these other machines. Turn those on. Alright, let's see what happens. There we go. And that should come through just like that. See how they bumped into each other but then reorganized down here? That's what I want to see. And so now we have our plastic fittings are getting used up, and that will slow down production. But if we need more plastic fittings, again, I can just duplicate exactly what's going on here, and we'll get twice as many plastic fittings. And that will cost us, 3 machines. We don't have to double, we don't have to go out of our way to create a brand new machine. But as you can see here, we have a lot of plastic fittings just sitting there backed up. I can pause, shut that one right off, and we're still going to be spitting out plastic fittings. Because this processes at every 2 seconds, right? But it's creating 5, and it only spits out 1 every half a second, right? And so that means that for every 1 plastic block, there's a half a second that it's going to have, a plastic fitting from the previous plastic block that is still in its inventory. Stay with me. This is, all part of the whole workflow optimization problems that you read about in books like The Game or The Goal rather, and the Phoenix Project. Great books. I highly recommend them. Anyway, as you can see here, the output speed on this is every 1 second, which means if we allow this dispenser to spit out at full force, then it will spit out 2 plastic blocks for every 1 block that is processed through here. So, what we can actually do is we can take this, right? And we'll take that because the heater doesn't add any delay. And we will take our plastic former. Pause this. Actually, we'll just turn that off. Alright, that should be done now. And we'll move that off to the side. We'll move that off to the side. Now we can have two feeding off of, oops, that's the wrong button, a single dispenser. We'll do that with this beautiful splitter. So what this allows is it allows you to take one feed, such as one dispenser, and output to two separate lines. And we can do that this way. It's a very basic representation of this machine. Right? So now let's turn this back on. Let's turn this back on. And that. So we have this machine and this machine that need to be added to a line. So we'll take our guy here. And we'll say, you now control these two. And the output of this plastic former is going to be plastic fittings. And now what do we think's going to happen? We have this one that is still shooting straight through. And now we have that one that is. And look how beautiful that goes. So this should stick right around 139, 140. It shouldn't go up, it shouldn't go down. If we hit restock contents, now we can see it's going right down. It will still end up built up because, like I said, for every 2 seconds crafting speed, it has a 2.5 second output speed. This is the output speed for a single item, but it creates 5 when it crafts, so it's slower to spit them out than it is to actually make them. So what I tend to do is I'll leave that running for a while. I'll let it build up a good set of plastic fittings. And then I'll either come in here and I'll hit restock contents, or I'll just shut off the dispenser for a while. But plastic fittings they're cheap to produce and you use a lot of them. So we'll just let that run. It's building twice as many plastic fittings. So here we can see it's spitting them right out. Same thing over here. And so we're sticking and we're using as much as we're getting in, right? So actually I think that might, yeah, we are using as much as we're getting in because we're using them at an output speed of 0.5 seconds, but we have 2 of them. So we're actually outputting 2 every half a second. And as you can see here, we're outputting 2 every half a second. So we're using them as quickly as they're being dispensed. So that would mean that these 2 machines are balanced. So balance is important because balance allows you to control what products are going to end up on your shelf. As we see here, we have 121 camo gloves and 99 camo vests. And because of our automation rules, we're looking at that, right? And so we're only going to sell to the US if there's camo gloves. But this one allows us to sell anything in our inventory that is fulfillable, right? And that means that we're already going to be selling the camo vests. I wouldn't be surprised if we had one already. Well, I guess if it was fulfillable, it wouldn't be in our list, would it? It would have already been sold. So we're selling gloves. We got our camo vests. Yeah, see there? He wants Kevlar armor, but we're not there yet. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. I will start this research just so that we can start making our way towards the Kevlar armor. But I think that's a good place to end it for the day. We created our second machine. We're selling our second product. We're starting to build up our stockpile. I may end up expanding our storage capacity. We do have less money, obviously. We just spent a lot of money. But if we look at our finance, we're making a lot of money off of our gloves. We haven't sold any of our vests yet, but that's only because people haven't. They're wanting a lot of vests, right? So, but we have a lot of gloves, and if we think that camo gloves is the way to go, then we'll expand our camo glove, development, which we could do with yet another, little recycling bin. Maybe we add a second one of these. You never know. We'll see in the next episode. Leave a like, hit subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. I will see you later.